Hey y'all, this video is about week 3 and I want to get it out there a little early so you can play with it and look at it. We're going to cover elevator pitches and resumes, but with most of the focus on resumes. I will go the whole 15 minutes of this video, so just speed it up a little and take a look at the slides as I go. For your elevator pitch, it's a really quick way to share your expertise and credentials. Of course, it got its name because it's the idea that you're standing in an elevator and the CEO of a company, or really anyone that you don't know, steps in and you guys have a quick little chat, 15 to 60 seconds. And it's a great networking tool, so you can use that for networking opportunities, whether you're at an event that is intentionally for networking or you're just mingling. I had to use mine at a wedding a couple weeks ago and ended up getting some great job shadowing leads for students in a different class. So it's the way you sell yourself. And you all won't be doing this in class like my in-class version, but I have an activity for you to prep. Also, I think your elevator pitch fits really nicely into the resume in the professional summary section. That's a little shortened, obviously, because you're typing it out, but it's a nice idea. You kind of want to mirror your professional summary that's on your resume with your elevator pitch and sound natural. So it's something you're going to practice and rehearse a bit. You don't want to sound robotic and monotone, but natural. You're having a conversation. So the way you do that is, and the way we would do it in class, so think about this, is I have students write down everything you want an employer to know about you, not your whole resume, but I just graduated from this school, and this is my degree, and this is what I love, and these are all of my experiences, and this is what I want to do, this is what I'm good at. Okay, so you write it all down. Usually I give them like a big note card. Okay, scribble it all down. Then I give them all a Post-it. So right, we're thinking 1/3 to 1/4 of the size. You're going to condense all of those things into the most critical. What do you do and what skills you have? So I'm Robin Clements. I have an undergraduate and master's degree in higher education, and I currently work as the coordinator of advising, overseeing 150 students, and I also teach professional development. Okay, so what do I do? What skills I have? Why does it matter? Why is what you are doing important? I help students on their career path. That's kind of what I say. It sounds like I didn't finish that thought. I apologize, but I help students on their career path. I help them narrow down what they want to do and find opportunities. That's why what I do is important. And then what do I want next? Now, I'm not currently seeking, so I tailor mine to maybe what I want to learn from this person. But for you all as students, if I was seeking an opportunity, I would say I'm seeking opportunities to enhance my project management and overseeing projects and activities for college students in ag business. Okay, so you kind of want to call them to action at the end. So what do you do? Why is it important to the community? And then what do you want from this person, or what are you actively doing? And you got to practice it out loud. So in class, we would share those. I gave you an example of one here. It's really short and concise. Obviously, a professional summary, you're going to take out the I statements and tweak it a little. But it's a really good example and can kind of help you on your path while you're practicing. So while we don't have an assignment to say your elevator speeches, I hope that at least some of you will take the opportunity to practice those. And then we're going to talk about resumes. Now, I have made a file in Moodle that's like, says something like resume resources or something. It has a basic template. If you just feel lost and overwhelmed at the formatting, start with that template. You can make it look more mature and grown up later, but at least you have your sections that are most vital to the resume organized. It also has tons of lists of action verbs. There's a career guide that has a booklet of other resumes. You don't want to copy those resumes, but it can be a guide and give you some ideas. So go check out those resources for sure. But a resume is simply the opportunity to display, share your accomplishments, skills, and work opportunities or work experiences. Some folks think about a CV. A CV is more geared towards academia. So if you've done heavy research and you're going into the research or higher education field, maybe a CV is for you. But my guess is that all of you right now were thinking about resumes. Even if you're going towards grad school, you're going to be applying with a resume and transitioning to a CV later, maybe. Okay, most important is these basics. You want proper grammar and spelling. We've all heard the stories of people who are reviewing resumes, and if there's tons of errors, things are glaring with the formatting, they just throw it out. So above all, we're going to make sure your grammar's good and your spelling's good, okay? It's going to be one page for you all. I know in the future you're going to expand to more than one page. Mine did not go to 2 pages till I had 11 years work experience, because we're also tailoring this resume to specific jobs, okay? So you don't have to put every single job you ever had. We're leaving high school off. We're focusing on college, and we're going to be putting relevant experiences to your professional summary or your objective, okay? And then you want to be consistent. That's something I'm always looking for, and that's with formatting. So with your margins, if you put your dates on the right, they should all be flush right, ending along that same line if I put a ruler up to them, not all over the place. Your dates should be the same. If you're going to use numbers, 8/2018 to 9/2019, I don't want to later see August 2019 to September 20, or August, September 18 to September 2019. So pick how you're going to format things and go for it. Be committed. Abbreviations, if you use NCSU once, I want to see that every time, okay? So again, and being consistent with your formatting. If you're putting lines under a couple sections, I want lines under every section. It just looks nicer. And a lot of y'all really love to put that one of your skills is attention to detail, and then these things aren't consistent. So I know that you don't have attention to detail. So either don't put attention to detail, which is what I avoid because I don't have that. I know it's not a skill for me. Or be really, really careful that you're consistent and you're paying attention to detail if you claim that you do. So those are our very basics, okay? I've got 2 resumes here. You'll notice at the top there's no names. I took those off because these are for students. I've gotten their permission to use these. I'm not saying these resumes are perfect. There's always, always, always room to work on a resume. For example, over here, I would take high school off. We don't need to know what high school you went to. We know you went to high school because you're at NC State. You had to go to high school. So again, these aren't perfect, but I thought they were 2 examples of resumes that had the same concepts formatted similarly, but the accomplishment statements especially were unique, okay? So you've got your professional summary or objective. We're going to focus on professional summary. We like to have that. Objective is kind of outdated. But again, you see the same idea here. And these are really good professional summaries. I do have a resource in that file about how to write an effective one. Because those do get you a little stumped. Next is education, because we want to follow the 1/3 rule. Most important information in the top 1/3, which you see here. You're applying for jobs that require a college degree. So you want to display that first and foremost, okay? Top 1/3 rule, your education is next. Again, no high school. We're focusing on institutions. If you have 2 institutions, you'd format them like this. Maybe you went to Wake Tech, like over here under the one on the left, and then you went to NC State. Except we put NC State at the top because we're going reverse chronological order. That's really important. Reverse chronological order. And then you put Wake Tech below it. But you just put wherever you went. Both of these people did that in different ways. They did a great job. And then we have their experiences or accomplishments. This student chose to include projects to kind of enhance. And based on her work experience or her work goals, her summary, this project would be relevant. Okay, this student chose to focus on her agricultural work experience because she wants to get an internship in the agricultural business field. I really like that this student put agricultural work, right? She's pulling from the job description. But look, one student used bullets, one student used paragraphs. There's no perfect right way to do this. It's whichever you're more comfortable with. Just make sure you do a good job and you go back to those basics, grammar, spelling, 1 page, etc. And then they both have involvement or leadership. And they state what they were doing, okay? So we're going to focus in on really on the professional statement or accomplishments, but I wanted you to see that each of these resumes has different formatting, but they both do the same thing and they both look really professional. Okay, so what our focus is meaningful accomplished statements. What I see a lot is used register to help customers check out. That's not meaningful to me. That doesn't convey a lot, okay? You want a really strong action verb and result. And while that statement does that, it's not as impactful. I'm going to show you examples in a minute. We want to know what you did and why it was valuable. And then throwing in skills that you used are really helpful, okay? So if you're looking at a job that requires teamwork, you want to be sure that somewhere in those accomplishments, you state that you used your teamwork skills. You used your problem-solving skills. That's where you mirror the language, which I'll talk about in a few minutes. I mentioned that here using keywords from job postings, and you'll do that. That's when we say you want to tailor your resume to every job. It doesn't mean you're rewriting your entire resume. You're just tweaking the wording on it to show that you're a match. So when I applied for this job, they wanted someone with advising experience. So I was sure to include used advising and interpersonal skills to guide students through degree plan. Okay, I pulled in advising skills. They wanted someone who had project management, supervised projects via this, and this resource in order to ensure timely delivery of product. Okay, and you want to quantify where possible. So if you're doing dog grooming and you groom 50 dogs per week, that's important. That stands out. And you use the number 50, don't write it out. It kind of jumps out. It changes the flow of the sentence. So quantify where you can and where it makes sense. I want to go back here and show you this. This student calculated purchasing price of feed ingredients for local farmers according to the Chicago Board of Trade and Elevators basis. So she shows exactly what she did with a really powerful verb here, calculate, and we have those verb resources in the file. And then she threw in a skill that she had that might be important to a future employer, okay? Maybe if the employer uses something different, she would take this out. But these statements are extremely impactful. Provide, create, and why, okay? So if you thought about this, a lot of you put worked as part of a team. That's great, but you can make that so much stronger. Chosen as leader of a team of 8 associates within 3 months of employment, train new associates. That sounds great. It told me that you moved up, which a lot of you all did move into leadership positions. You're not how to word it. You don't know how to word it. So this is helpful. So much more impactful. If you help customers with their questions and take care of pets, I get this a lot because a lot of you had some kind of customer service job. You didn't just help them, you interacted with them. So if they're saying you're going to interact with customers in the job posting, you're going to put that interact as your verb. You're going to mirror that verb. Interact daily with up to 25 customers and educate new owners about pet ownership, right? It just takes this to the next level. It elevates your accomplishment statement, okay? If it's a job you're working at currently, it needs to be in present tense. If it's a job you worked at in the past, it needs to be in past tense. I will be looking for that. That goes back to our consistency rule. And then I want to show you here, all of your accomplishments need to be in reverse chronological order. So most recent, like this, first to oldest. I don't want to see any high school work here either, okay? Just like we don't need to know what high school you went to, we don't need to know your work. Very rarely it's relevant, and you can ask me on a case-by-case basis about that. Okay? So when you finalize your resume, I have a really nice checklist in the resources as well. If you go through that checklist and check everything off, you're going to be good to go. You're going to get an A. You want it to be concise and clear. So your statements don't need to run on forever, typically 1 line, sometimes 2, but that's it. You want to compare it and tailor it to the job posting. For us, you don't have to do that. We're not using a posting yet, but in the future. You want to have efficient use of space. I don't want tons of white space. Think about what you've done. You don't have to have been paid to include the work, okay? It could have been an amazing project you spent a year on. That's experience. You want to support your objective or your personal summary. Don't put references, and don't put references upon request. You don't need that at all. That's outdated. You're going to double check your grammar, and you're going to have a professional review it. This is not just for this class, but long term, okay? So really quickly, I've got 1 minute left, so I probably have to send an email too. This is your assignment. Cal's Career Services has to review and edit your resume before you can submit. So when you submit this assignment, you're going to put it in this order. Your updated resume on top, your first version, and the copy that someone in Cal's Career Services scribbled all over, okay? And this is how I'm going to break down your grade. I'm actually putting this out there for y'all early. Next week, by Wednesday, I will have a sign up because we are going to have a resume day on September 10th up in Nelson Hall, and you could sign up for a time to pop in and have Cal's Career Services review your resume. You can also have them review it outside of that time. I just am trying to make it very possible for you to get your resume reviewed. But remember, you've got to have all these components. First is your updated version. Second is your original. And third is the one that person scribbled all over. And you will lose 2 points if I don't have all of those. This is all I have for y'all. Let me know if you have questions.